Today I'm going to be making something really yummy, and this is my red velvet cake. So let's get on with the ingredients. Half a cup of buttermilk, 1 cup of regular white sugar, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of vinegar, 1 egg, half a cup of vegetable oil, a 1/4 cup of regular black coffee, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and red food coloring. We're going to need about a good tablespoon of the food coloring. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. Alright, our first step, I'm going to take all of our vegetable oil and get that right in there. And then all of our white sugar. We'll just get our mixer. And we'll start mixing that together. Okay, so you want your fats and your sugars, as always. You want to get those incorporated. And then I'll get the egg in right away. Okay. I'm just going to cream this a little bit. Just want to get a little bit of air into this mixture. Okay. We'll get our salt in there. And our vanilla. And I'm going to get my coffee in there. And that's optional. However, coffee with chocolate, the coffee always intensifies the chocolate. And then I'll get our buttermilk in there as well. Just like that. Kind of looks like chocolate milk right now. Okay, that's good. And then what we'll do is we're going to sift in our dry ingredients. Alright, I've got my sieve. I'm going to get our flour and our cocoa powder. There we go. Our baking soda and our baking powder. And then just give it a little shake. Shake, rattle, and roll. Just like that. I'm just going to take the back of a measuring spoon and just push all of this down. And there we go. Beautiful. Okay, and then we're going to mix this in. Now this red velvet cake doesn't look very red right now, and that's because we haven't added our red food coloring in, and we're going to do that in 1 second. So I'm just going to incorporate this first, and then we'll add in our food coloring. Alright, that's good. Alright, and then I've got my red food coloring. I just want to get about a tablespoon in here. Okay, there we go. We'll just dump that right in. And if you find that it's not red enough, you can just simply add more. So let's mix this in. Doesn't that look great? And that red might remind you of something. The color of beets. Another way of making a recipe like this, if you don't want to use food coloring, is to actually use beets. That's how it was done a long time ago. Today we use food coloring just to simplify the process, but you can use beets as well. There are many recipes that include beets. So there we go. Alright, let me just move this over to the side. I have my pan here ready to go. This is a 7-inch by 3-inch high pan. I'm going to spray this with cooking spray. I'm going to put a little bit of all-purpose flour inside and just shake it around just like that, and then we're going to pour our batter in. Alright, I've got my little flour shaker, and I'm just going to get some flour in here. And then what I simply do is just bang it around I've sprayed it with a cooking spray, but as I do this, what happens is the flour adheres to the actual grease that's in there. Just like that. I'm going to get a little more in here. Just like that. There we go. Perfect. So my oven is at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Just like that. There we go. And that's ready to go. Just dump out any excess. There we go. Okay, get that right on camera there. And we're going to take our lovely batter and just get that right in. Oh, it smells so good. And there we go. Alright, so I'm going to pop this into my 350 degree oven. I will tell you exactly how long I baked it for when I get back. So, off to the oven. Alright, my cake has come out of the oven. I baked it for a total of 55 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I can see the cake has slightly pulled away from the actual edge of our baking pan. And just to ensure that I'm going to get a nice break, I want to take my spatula and just run around, just like that. Just run it around all the way around. Just be very, very gentle. Okay? Now, I have let my cake cool for about 15 minutes in the pan. It's actually still quite hot, but it has cooled considerably. I'm going to grab my little thing here, and then we can just flip it over. Okay? I'll just get it like that. And with any luck, I just felt it pull down. And there we go. Beautiful. Nice and clean. Our pan, that is. And there we go. So now we'll flip it back over. Just like that. And there we go. Beautiful. So right now the cake is very, very warm. We can't do anything with it. We're going to let it really, really cool down. We'll come back later. We'll cut it in half. We'll check it out and we'll ice it up. So right now I'm just going to let it cool and I'll be back in a little while. Alright, our red velvet cake has completely cooled now. Very, very nice. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get it over to a cutting board. And we're going to assemble our cake. The first thing that I do want to do is I just want to take the top off because it is round. Now you have two choices here. You can actually cut this right down the middle of the cake, so here, and then take the top part and turn it upside down. Okay, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just cut the top off like this, and then you can have yourself a little snack. And then we're just going to take that right off, and there we go. Beautiful. Okay, and now I am going to cut it through the middle. So just get yourself in the middle and then just slowly saw through your cake as you turn it. And perfect. Alright, and now we are ready to ice our cake. Alright, our next step is to just get some frosting on here. This is a classic cream cheese frosting. I'll link to that at the end of this video. If you want to make it, I'll put a link there and then you can check that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this on here. You can put this as thick or as thin as you want. Alright, there's the first coat. And we'll get the top of our cake on there. Just try to center it really nicely. That's good. I'll get a little bit more on the top. Alright, that looks good. Nice and rustic. I don't want anything too fancy. And there we go. Our cream cheese frosting is done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop this into the fridge for a little while just for it to chill down a little bit. That will enable me to cut a nicer slice out of it, and then I will show you the final product later on. Alright, I just wanted to show you the cake once I had taken a couple of slices out of it. I have one slice here. One slice was already eaten. I wonder who ate it. Yum. Anyway, so there we go. I just wanted to show you the inside. But that's it for now. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.